Hello friends, Tanya here again with another Trinity Stamps video, and today we're going to do some magical scene building and use the Slimline Surprises die sets. I'm going to start out by ink blending with the Atelier Ink on 3 Goddess Green ink, and I'll do some ink blending later with the Trinity Teal, and I'm doing it on a panel of light blue cardstock. Now I'm going to take 3 dies total from the Slimline Surprises die set to create this slider component for the front of the card. The first part is the top, the actual cover plate with the folding mechanism, and then the tag topper and other component to create the slider pull piece. There's this really awesome magical sentiments stamp set that I'm going to use to do a little sentiment building here. This is going to say, "Owl I want for my birthday is my Hogwarts letter." It is perfect. There is actually an entire line, and this is one of them. This is the Castle Builder die set of magical wizard themed stamp sets and dies. I took that Castle Builder and I cut out a bunch of trees, I cut out the castle, and I cut out this slope and some clouds, and I do actually cut out the Quidditch hoops also. And I'm going to glue those to the front of this slider component. Now that you see that it's up about a ½ inch, ¼ inch from the bottom, and that's because that tab folds up. That's what we're going to adhere that slider tag on the back to. So I'm going to glue those down and then I trim it off on the sides there. And I did, FYI, double stamp the sentiment because I like it to be double stamped. You only see me do it once, but I did do it twice. I am creating a line of trees on the bottom of this scene, and I did try to tuck the castle below or underneath that layer of stitched slope there. I should have left the glue a little lower. I shouldn't have put it all the way up to the edge since I intended to tuck the castle in. Now you'll notice there is another fold line on the panel, and you want to make sure not to put anything on top of that because you don't want to impede the folding sliding surprise. I did have to cut out a few more trees, and I'm gluing them on to create a forest line. It's very more symbolic than representative because they aren't to scale, but they are super fun. And that last tree I glued on, I should have waited to glue all the way on because I end up peeling it back in order to get all of my Quidditch hoops up. These I cut out with pearlized brown or bronze paper that I happen to have just a scrap of laying on my desk. I do find that I can peel up this tree. I lucked out. I did not destroy the card. Once in a while, we get lucky. So I'm going to try to evenly space these with the middle one being taller than the other two. Just going to use my Barely Arts precision glue here to tack that down and get that tree tacked back down on top of that, and you'll never know that I had to peel it back. I did cut out a third cloud, so a second of the smaller clouds. And oops, missed a tree. Let's glue that on there. Yes, it is overlapping the edge of the slider, but it isn't glued down on that side. So I pull out the Magical Wizards stamp set, which has coordinating die set, and I found the owl and the letter, and I am stamping them with Versamark ink, and I'm going to white heat emboss them, but I want them to be kind of a little more subtle on the top part of this tag that's going to pull up, and that's where you can see I did some ink blending with the Trinity Teal Ink on 3 ink. I used my Blending Buddy brush to do that, and I am going to white heat emboss these very quickly. I did not have to double stamp these. These stamped perfectly just once, and that was kind of risky on my part too, because you can't really see your stamping too well. And you'll see that I did stamp those letters right on top of the bird's tail, or the owl's tail. Going to take another piece of white cardstock, lay my overlay on top, mark out where the slider is, because I want to use this Your Magic stamp set. Actually, it's just a single stamp, to add to the inside of the slider. I want there to be something fun on the inside. As you can see laying next to this, I had already stamped and colored with Copics and with the Nuvo Sparkle marker the Where You Go Magic Follows, which is that Your Magic stamp set. And I die cut it with the coordinating die. I'm going to erase those pencil marks on this other piece. I had colored in the stars with a couple of yellow markers from Copic. I am going to glue this tag down. You want to make sure that the top is centered and lined up, and that you are not any lower than the bottom of that slider. I also took some coaster blank that I had trimmed down nice and skinny, and you can use foam tape if you want, and glued that down just so it has a little bit of extra height, so that it slides easily, especially since we're going to glue that magic piece on top of the piece that I am gluing down behind this. Now, this is not directly to the card base yet. This is all separate yet. I had to trim off a little bit of the coaster blank that was sticking out. And I'm going to glue that and put a heavy item on the back. Gonna add the magic, your magic piece on top, and this is just glued flat. You might be worried that it's going to catch, but it doesn't. In the end, it looks like it's going to catch here, but it doesn't. Once I get it all assembled, it does not catch. I guess that was really important to me, since I said it several times. Then I took a piece of baker twine from my stash and tied it to the top of the slider to make it really easy to get a hold of and slide up and down. And now we're going to glue that to the 3.5 by 8.5 inch slimline card base that I created, and I'm going to put my Misty on top of that again for weight. Now I've opened it all the way up, and I put it inside my Misty so I can stamp the sentiment from the Magical Sentiment stamp set. This is such a great builder stamp set. You can use magic or magical. They just very nicely stamp together, and I had taken an owl and a letter and stamped those and colored those with Copic markers and die cut them with coordinating dies also. And I'm going to add those to the inside of the card for a little added detail. Now I do glue that just right over the top of the tail of the owl. And there, again, checking out how it looks. And it's not quite done. Trinity Stamps just got gobs and gobs of embellishments back in stock. If you haven't noticed that, go check it out. All of your favorites are back, and there's a whole bunch of new ones there also. I don't have the new ones yet. I do have an order in for them. We're going to use the rainbow fish embellishments this time. They're a nice half-back pearl with an ombre rainbow effect. And I'm just going to take a few of those and add those to the front of the card, because it just wasn't quite done. I needed a little extra something. And they do have a full variety of colors in this pack. There's dark to light, pinks and purples, greens and oranges and yellows, all of the different colors. So those 6 little pieces of pearl add to the front of the card, and we are done. I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope you feel like pulling out any of your scene building supplies and getting started on your own, or maybe you're going to go check out these magical wizards. All of the supplies I used on this card are linked in the description box below, and I would love to hear what you have to say about this video. Leave me a comment, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and check out a few more videos that we thought you might enjoy. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.